One evening in the middle of April at 10,000 feet, as the temperature began its overnight fall into the upper mid-20s, I pitched my pro trail and had a thought. It might be nice to have a simpler tent. I considered this the next day as I hiked back home, and I sort of settled on a rectangle-ish shape with a vestibule-like opening along one long side, making it a 5 to 6-sided structure. Nothing really novel or unique. I wanted minimal seams with no outside doors, more tarp than fully enclosed tent, but I did want bug protection with a Velcro opening. Once home, I began the design phase, which was the most time-consuming part of the whole project. While doing this, I looked at and took inspiration from the Z-Pax Hexamid, the Metaphysics Abode, and the MLD Cricket. DCF, my material of choice, is expensive, so my goal was to maximize space while simultaneously minimizing the amount of DCF that I needed to use. I wanted to stay under a total of about 5.5 yards. I started with some rough initial dimensions and then went through countless iterations using paper, a 3D tent pattern generator, and stringline mock-ups. After a full week of designing using all these different methods along with a 20:1 scale model, I landed on the semi-final dimensions. I did an area calculation for the material to ensure that I met the 5.5 yard goal for the DCF. Did one final small refinement in dimensions, then penultimately I made a full-scale model out of plastic sheeting. Not the ideal material, but it was cheap and it served its purpose well enough, which was proof of concept and to ensure that I fit and I liked the space. So with the design and all dimensions finalized, I ordered supplies. A roll of 3M 9482 PC tape adhesive, 5.5 yards of 0.51 ounce DCF, 3 yards of 1/2 ounce noseeum mesh, 10 yards of 1/2 inch grosgrain, and a pack of line locks. I had some 2.92 ounce DCF left over from an earlier small project that I was going to use for the reinforcement patches. I also went down to Home Depot and bought a roll of some Velcro that I was going to use for the opening on the noseeum mesh. Luckily, our apartment complex has a large common space that I can use as a workspace. I'm not sure how I would have done this without an extremely large open space in which to work. The DCF was laid out and cut, and the bug mesh was cut and sewn together. I did a sort of dry assembly to make sure that everything fit together and there were no glaring issues. I didn't want to get everything sewn together and realize, oh man, this is not going to work. So from there, the beak was taped, the bug mesh was sewn to the DCF, and then I added reinforcements to the tie-outs and the center top for the trekking pole. I really like how it finally turned out. I feel it's definitely simpler to pitch and take down than my Pro Trail, which is pretty simple already. It's also quite a bit lighter than the Pro Trail, and the packed volume is significantly smaller. Additionally, the total number and weight of items for the abri are also significantly less, and the abri packs so tight and small that I haven't felt the need for a stuff sack. So simpler, lighter, and smaller on all measures. And most importantly, I've actually enjoyed it. The abri got its first night of use at the end of May, and it has since kept me dry through a thunderstorm at 11,000 feet. There we have it, the abri. My whisperlight and simple, make-your-own gear hiking shelter. After 4 nights of use, I did add some tie-outs to both sides to tie back the bug netting when it's not needed. And If I were to do it again, I would go with a lighter and thinner version of Velcro, something that wasn't quite as sticky. If you're curious about anything or have any questions, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. Thank you for watching.